Hey everyone, welcome to today's interview. Basically, I'm here with a guy that you might have heard of, Matt Fiddes, and I'll get him to introduce himself properly if you've never heard of him, but it's very unlikely you haven't. But today, what we're going to be talking about is something that I found a lot with speaking with clients and generally in the market and even in the news. We've obviously got a recession looming, or which in some cases is here already. I just thought it'd be good to actually just get some feedback from someone that's been through it all, someone that's actually grew a lot from the recession, and just kind of get ideas as to what kind of things you could be doing yourself and how to approach it. So before we get started, firstly, Matt, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself to people that maybe have never heard of you?
Well, if they never heard of me, then my job hasn't been very good over the years, has it? I would hope they have. But yeah, I run a big chain of martial arts schools around the world. That's pretty much it. Other than that, relatively normal, I guess. I mean, that's pretty much it. So I was a martial artist, taekwondo guy. Set up my first school in '97, and I ended up with over 1,400 of them.
No, so how was your? I mean, obviously, a lot of people that will know you is like your story of like going through with the schools and everything. So you've obviously been through a lot of stuff like this that's happening right now, like back in the day. So what have you seen like before's recession and this recession that's come in? What's the differences do you think that people are going to be facing?
Well, the thing is, a lot of it is psychological. That's the thing, Swap. Is that have you heard most millionaires and billionaires are made out of recessions? Because if you know what you're doing, you can really cash in at this time. But you have to understand the whole psychology behind it. So back in 2000, so the early years of my career, they were from '97 right through to 2007. We were opening schools like crazy. We did 400 franchises in a year. It was massive. And then 2008 was the last recession. That was the big one. The banks caused that. The banks were just giving money out everywhere. The credit crunch, right? That's what they called it. And banks were going bust, and the government had to bail them out. The big difference is with that one and this one. This one is where this is kind of like the backlash from the pandemic. Too much money's been printed out. Too much loans have been given out to the wrong people. And the government are 3 trillion, almost 3 trillion in debt, paying billions on interest. So, and also the other big difference is back then in 2008, we never had this technology, this social media, Zooms, thousands of TV channels weren't around back then. So currently, the interesting thing about this recession is that nothing's really happened yet. Yet all the banks have pulled all the mortgages. The only few that are there are over 6.1% now. The base rate's gone up quite fast, the quickest it's gone up in 30 years, 2.25%. But even that is relatively cheap compared to what it was back when I bought my first property. It was 5%, and that was considered cheap then, back then. So we're in where everything's going up constantly. Fuel going up, energy's going up, electricity, expenses going up, mortgages are going to go up. Clearly, the Bank of England interest rate to go up. The biggest problem you've got is the media, and the media's job is to scare the life out of you to watch them. It never used to be like this, but there's more. What's that?
Yeah, some kind of noise there.
Sound like a heartbeat.
It did. Yeah, I think it's gone now.
Is it gone now?
Yeah.
Okay, that might be my end. I just have to turn something down. Yeah, the biggest thing is that the media have to get you to watch the channel, and to do that, they need to scare the life out of you because there's so much competitive channels out there now. So if you're watching the news now, you'll never find anything positive. It's either Ukraine war, pandemic still, cost of living, interest rate hikes. It's just dire. If you go back the last 3 years, we had the whole Prince Andrew scandal, then the Harry and Meghan, what was it, Megxit, whatever they called it, then Brexit, then pandemic, lockdown 1, lockdown 2, lockdown 3. Now we got the Ukraine war, the Queen dies. It's just dire. Yeah. So they have to scare you more than ever now to watch it. But the reality is, it's not as bad as what people think. But there is truth that the public, of course, the general public are going to respond to the media and make their decisions based on that. So, of course, it's going to affect the average martial arts school massively.
Yeah, I think also one thing is, and what I've heard as well from people is energy. The energy thing is going to be quite a big thing as well. What they're thinking is, well, not what they think is happening is that, with if they got their own premises and everything like this, what kind of impact it's going to have with energy and household and all rising costs on that end. So, like, is it as bad as what people think will happen? Do you think?
No,
Is it
it's not as
like,
bad as what people think. You need to. I said to my team back in 2008, because they were calling up, we didn't have much of these back then. Actually, people used to ring you on those back then. They don't ring you anymore. So WhatsApp messages and stuff. And I said to them all, I know there's a recession, but we're not going to take part in it. And we didn't. We ignored it. And we grew like crazy. Pat O'Driscoll, my biggest franchisee. Yeah, he went from like 300 students to 3,000 in the recession. It's just down to the decisions you make and your own psychology. You got towns here with 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 people in. You're looking for maybe 100 or 200 people in a town. It's never going to be an issue. You're always going to find 200 or 300 people in a town that can afford your program, your martial arts program. If you're looking for 2,000 or 3,000, that might be a difference, And this whole thing about competition in martial arts too. When we open up a new location in an area, people get quite uptight about it. They get worried. MATT FIDDES Martial Arts is coming to us. You shouldn't be worried about it because these towns have got 100,000 people in. There's room for everyone. We just recently, I'll tell you a story. We both know Gordon Bertram well. Recently, we just opened up in Rugby. Gordon embraced the idea because he understands the more doing martial arts business in your area, the more it becomes normal for that town in Rugby. And he also told me it's 100,000 people in Rugby. It does make a difference. He didn't give me any hassle. He was like, welcome to Rugby. That's exactly what he messaged to me. He's a good guy. Yeah. Some of the other people in Rugby were like trying to do everything they can to destroy my advertising campaigns and troll the comments. They even turned up on the night to ask stupid questions at our launch. If you understand it like Gordon did there, that psychology of it, you only need a certain amount of people. It's not all doom and gloom. You're still going to be able to operate. Yeah. You do need to change. You do need to maneuver your positioning. That's the key.
Yeah, no, that leads quite nicely to what I was going to ask next. Really, but you're right. People get too bogged down with competition and things like that. While in fact, I think you mentioned this last time, which I thought was really great. Is your competition is not other school owners; it's like other sports, basically.
Yeah.
So would you say like people probably are thinking that they need to start reducing their membership costs and start going down the other way to start making themselves appeal, to make themselves look good for parents to come to their school? Do you think that is like a good strategy for them, or what would you say?
Yeah, the thing is, Swap, no one wants to be, no one's going to brag at you at the school gates, brag about you if you're cheap. They're not going to go, hey, go to that one, it's really cheap. No one wants the cheap stuff. That ain't going to work. Plus, you're not going to be perceived. So when you say to people, what's the ideal cars you want to buy? They'll say a Ferrari, a Mercedes, a Porsche, or Maserati. Not because it's such a special car, and I've had most of those cars, because of the badge it's attached to it, which is how much it costs. It gives a signal of success, doesn't it? I've had loads of Ferraris, and believe me, they're the most uncomfortable things in the world. If you've got a passenger next to you, you can't speak to them the whole journey because the engine's too flipping noisy. You got more cheaper cars that are more comfortable, but it's the prestige factor. So at times like this, it's not so much reducing your prices. What can you do to make yourself more valuable to them? And you mustn't operate in the leisure industry. You've got to operate in the education sector. So I have this saying I teach at my events that education will never die. There will always be a need for parents to want their kids to do martial arts for self-discipline, confidence, respect, goal setting, and everything, all that type of stuff. The benefits that we teach at the school system don't. If you're too much on the fitness based, then your membership will look at you as a leisure activity. In which case, first thing people cancel out in recessions is they look on their bill, leisure. Bum, bum, bum. Gym memberships is a big one. I've got a friend who's a gym owner right now. He's going for a right challenge because people are just banging out memberships. David Lloyd gyms, I can see they've got some challenges at the minute where they're having to react because they're high ticket.
Yeah.
£150 a month in some areas. People will just go choose the £20 a month 24-hour gym over them now. They'll forget about the swimming pool and the saunas and stuff because it's a big saving. That can make the difference between them heating their home and not. So you need to make yourself more valuable. But what else can you offer to get them in? Now, what we've noticed is that bookings are not down; they're actually up. Because at times like this, parents want to make sure their kids are going to be okay. If you're operating in the education sector, you know what you're doing. So it's got nothing to do with Facebook. It's got nothing to do with them get rid of your reach, or anything like that. It's got to do with how can you make yourself offer so compelling. It's a no-brainer when you think about what they're looking at on their phone, on Facebook, on Instagram, on the news is fear. Fear to them, but they can't afford to live. The whole world's going to get nuked at any time. They got to keep cash in the bank. They can't afford their mortgage. So what can you do to relieve that pain? So it's a no-brainer because parents will always want their kids to do stuff. You just have to have that ability. So the key part is to take away that barrier to entry needs to be very low, or if not, nothing at all.
You think because I always notice most school owners always have the same offer and stuff. So I think this goes quite in the way with what you guys have done as well, changing up offers. So what I always recommend as well to people is make your offer different to everyone else. Why would someone just come to you if you're exactly the same? So anything that you can share on offers or what they can kind of put in there or anything that can make them
people can't tell how valuable you are from an ad. The advert will get them to inquire and become a lead. Then the person has to convert them, and they're going to be asked all the time, how much is it? How much is it? How much is it? That's not a real question. That's it's what we call an opening question. Like Swap, if you want a taxi and you ring a taxi firm, what do you say, Swap, when you ring them up?
Just want a taxi.
That's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
But what else? We just shut this window and we get blown away. Hang on a sec. We'll make a storm coming on. And if you, another example is if you want to order a pizza, I'm not saying that you do order pizzas, but if you do, what do you say when you make a pizza?
Yeah, just a pepperoni pizza, please.
Yeah, people say it's obvious why you ring it. So they got to come up with this reason to say something. They've got to open up the dialogue with you, and it's going to be, especially times like this, how much is it?
Yeah,
that's the first thing it will be. How much is it? How much is it? How much is it? Is it affordable? And you need to have your offer compelling. Now, they're not going to be able over the phone to be able to get that value from them. They need to be with you first. I think some of the biggest mistakes martial arts school owners do is do taster classes, throw them in the class, try it. Because depending on when that class is going to fall, you might be getting ready for a grading or competition or focusing on sparring that day or have a naughty kid in there who's going to wreck it for you. So depending on what you're doing in that class, they're going to come away with a false impression of what you do. So I think that's really important. The whole sales process needs to be very, very, very slick. And you need to take that barrier of entry. At times like this, you need to take it away. Now, we're fortunate where we can do that for real. So we all play with our offers, you're right. And people try and stick to the same offers sometimes. And the public get bored of that. They need to have a good copywriter behind it, kind of new offers all the time. So we're doing it's out there, so it's not everyone can see my ads. It's not a problem. So what we realized that September was quite different to what we normally have in September. And so what we did is we actually, for real, we've all done free uniforms before, haven't we? The free uniform offer, but we don't really do a free uniform offer because they have to pay a joining fee, which covers the cost of the uniform. So we're in a fortunate position where we got a warehouse with a lot of stock. So we took away the joining fee, we took away the uniform, and we're actually giving a uniform away completely free. Now, I know not everyone can do that or afford to do that. I appreciate that. However, what can you do to bring down that barrier to entry cost? Because if you've got a child who's starting a martial arts class and they get chucked in a class and they're trying to follow everyone else in the room, they've got no uniform on, they feel humiliated. And then, they might get on okay. Then they get hit with this joining fee, whatever it may be, 50, 60, 70 pounds. That's a barrier. They've not seen the real value yet. They're not seeing it. They haven't got the uniform on yet. If they had a uniform on there, you'd be halfway there. Because once they got a uniform on, the parents aren't going to say, little Johnny, you can't do it now. Take it off.
Yeah.
You got them. So what can you do? You might be able to just cover the cost of the uniform, maybe. So with our promotion, we went quite drastic. It's the second time I've done this. So we're doing free uniform, no joining fee. We really do not charge them a thing, nothing, nada. So if they don't come back, then we've lost the cost of that uniform.
Yeah.
And then they have a 3 month basically, and in that 3 month they can have at any time they can quit and there's no comeback whatsoever. It's like a guarantee, like a money back guarantee, 3 months. Well, there is no money. It's just completely. Now, when you go look at it on that point of view, you don't have to be a good salesperson because you can have anyone. It's a no-brainer. You try and give me an objection to that swap. Test me out.
You just got to be good at what you do, ain't you? Really, you just got to give a good class, and then people can kind of sense by themselves if you're.
Well, people say, "I need to speak to my husband or my wife." It's okay. You've got a month to do it. No problem. Don't like it, just give the uniform back. That's that. Or not sure if my kid's going to like it. Got a whole month to find out. Not sure if the classes are suitable. Check it out for a month. It covers every scenario. Every scenario. So you know how much it's going to be at the end of that month. So you pre-framing them, and then they got a whole month, and it's down to you. Right, it's down to the school owner then to really add some massive value to the classes, and they need to be talking to the parents. I mean, a lot of people call themselves clubs. You need to associate yourself like you're a school, like a private school. Yeah. You need to be in that sector right now. Private school kids won't be cancelling out because they understand the values linked to it. So the monthly memberships, that doesn't have to really be changed because once they're on direct debit, that normally takes part in the background. It's the entry levels, the issue. You need to come up with a compelling offer, a really, not the one I've just done. You could do something else on that, like £20 or something, uniform for £20, 1 month free. You got to shake it up. At times like this, you need to go in aggressive and doing stuff that other people don't do, doing stuff that you can afford, and look at the lifetime value. Because some people might think I can't afford to give away a uniform. It's going to, I don't know, it's going to cost me £25, £30 to give away a uniform. Well, the lifetime membership of a member, you need to calculate what is your retention over a year. Worst case, a year. Probably worst case scenario for most of them, they're going to be bringing in £1,000 at least. Well, they should be by the time they factor in gradings, merchandise, and their tuition and family member extension discounts. So you can afford to give away something at the beginning to take that barrier of entry down to get them in. And at times like this, it needs to happen. So I turned it on its head. I've launched so we've got a cost of living crisis. I've launched the cost of giving promotion. So I'm giving back to them. Completely free uniform, completely free joining fee. My franchises love it, as you can imagine. And it's no catches whatsoever. They can cancel any time. And yeah, it's a complete no-brainer. So we're having no issue whatsoever. We've had to adapt. I mean, we didn't think we'd be doing this. If I'm honest with you, we thought we'd be doing the usual thing we do. Yeah. £65 joining fee straight into the monthlies and so on. But you have to adapt because the media controls.
Make it a lot worse, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like when you went through this kind of phase before, did you run something similar that time? Do you remember, or how is it? How did you see it happening? I know it's a slightly different kind of recession that happened before, but what did you guys do around that time? Was any
around that time? We literally just blocked everything out, refused to listen to it, and we carried on as normal.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because every other business was scared to spend or invest. Sorry, spend's the wrong word. To invest, whereas we went out full out. I went out full out. So and my competitor's not martial arts. You're right in saying that. It's after school activities and football clubs and violin lessons and all this type of stuff. So other kind of activities, they held back, thinking I better hold on to my money because of the recession. I just went in there, man. I just freaking realized that.
One of the things, like I started my first business around that period. I launched it in 2009-10. So probably a scary time to start your first business. But when I look back at what tools we have these days, like with Facebook, and so Facebook ads was not that big around that time. It was only Google mainly and stuff. The opportunity for more exposure now is just ridiculous. There's so much more that people can do, which I think they forget a lot, is that, you can do this live stuff, educate why martial arts is good and everything. So I think that's a big key thing that I'm sure you agree with, is like the tools, online tools that we have is
Yeah.
totally different to back to when the 2008 stuff.
Oh, it's
So
massively different, Swap. And just like we did in lockdown, where a lot of martial arts schools went online and they did proper homework for the kids and child psychologists and bedtime. We did bedtime stories and everything. Wake up PE lessons, and times like this, you're gonna have to go back to adapting again. So one of the things we're doing is one of my, Jess and James, one of my friends, Jess and James, and myself. We're doing an event tomorrow night for all my students' my parents out there, and my adult students, on the cost of living crisis. And I'm having a top mortgage advisor on there, and we're going to give them 21 practical steps to save money and to answer their challenges they've got. Because with Jess and myself and the mortgage guy, it's quite a panel. We've been through all this stuff so many times before, and give them real advice and help them. So those people could have quit, but we've put on a free event for them to help them out, and they can all do this. Martial arts schools can all do this. So, and the parents love it. Parents love it. We've got like 450 registered so far, and I think by tomorrow night we'll be maxed out to the 1,000 you can have on Zoom.
yeah,
And
is that being recorded as well? That, do you know that Zoom, or is it like
yeah, I think we might record it. Yeah. Yeah.
If it's okay with you, like one of the things for people that are watching this, actually, by the way, if you want the show notes and like basically what we're talking about, along with extra tips, just comment notes below. And then what we'll also do, if it's okay with Matt, I forgot to ask him at the start, is we'll add the recording from this mortgage session that Matt is doing. So you get to learn a lot as to what to do through this recession. Obviously, you'll get the notes from here, so you can make it more practical for yourself. And then obviously, I'll give you some resources as well. We'll basically just comment, and I'll just send you a DM, and we'll sort you out. But I'm sure Matt can also give you a few more resources. One of the things as well, Matt, I'd like you to kind of go over is you've launched something that I think is just awesome, really, to help everyone. Is your MF.club thing. Do you want to just quickly just tell people a little bit about that, and then
Yeah,
as to
sure.
what it is?
Yeah, well, we kind of knew there was going to be a need for business mentorship out there, and we have been 26 years now. Swap, we've been doing this. And I don't look it, but the most stressed out martial arts school owner in the world. But yeah, I wanted to kind of give back, and I do a lot of. You've been to my events. I do a lot of mentoring in the business sector out of the martial arts too, and the property investing as well. So we launched MF.club, which is just a subscription-based website, and it's just £7.99 a month, 26p a day. But inside there, we cover subjects from how to franchise your business, how to license it, how to go global, social media marketing. You're in there as a consultant, mortgage advisors, especially at times like this. I'm really going for it. Jess and James has got his live events in there, like proper live events, recordings, how to manage money, what to invest in, property investing. Then we have like a private WhatsApp group too, where they're all networking with like-minded people. And this is the key. It's you only become the 5 people you mix with and what you consume. So with MF.club, and we won't keep it $7.99 forever, but it's like the Netflix of entrepreneurship, basically. So if you're a martial artist, then yeah, you can jump in there and learn lessons from a guy who's got the biggest martial arts chain in the world, I guess. And it's if you want to go from one to multi sites and not spend thousands and thousands on courses, then you can come in there. And for me, it's quite good. It gives back, and we add things to it monthly. And I've got all my friends who are the real deal, who are dropping content in there all the time. And I think it's going to be massive, Swap, to be quite honest. It's already took off incredibly well. And it's little things like how can you get the blue tick verified on your page, which makes a massive difference to Facebook ads. How do you do that? And how do you we focus a lot on online, which is important, but to increase your online results, you also need to do an offline marketing. So I'm doing a whole series on offline marketing in there too. So yeah, I'm tapping up all my network. People like Alfie Best, the billionaire, you met him. I introduced you to him. He's agreed to come in there and do some bits on there as well. But yeah, it's a subscription platform for entrepreneurship. Obviously, for martial arts, it's a no-brainer, right? They get to hang out with me and my team and see what we're up to and learn about franchising, growing your business, marketing methods. for £7.99 a month. And when the price goes up, we don't. For the people that are locked in, we don't increase it. So, yeah,
it's a no-brainer. You know, like in the day, I think one of the things that school owners, every business should be learning from what other businesses are doing as well, because you get loads of good ideas. Of course, you've got so many guest people coming in. Yeah, it's invaluable, really. I think it's, and also martial artists should understand mindset is such a big thing anyway, because they teach about it as well. So, you know, getting around
the
the right
psychology side.
Yeah.
So Jess and James takes care of that in there.
Yeah.
Mental health, psychology, how the brain works, and stuff like that. You know, how to get in the media, how do you get on TV, how do you get in your local media. I mean, I go into that in great detail, but a lot of it comes down. All of this comes down to mindset. It literally does, and you could do anything you want to do in your life. You could do what I've done if you want to, but you need to be. People who are mixing with me know the value of it, because what I've done in 26 years, they can do it in 5 years. They can learn from all the mistakes I've made and jump on my bandwagon, can't they? So MF.club is just an extension to that, really. So people are joining there to jump on my bandwagon, and then we teach them how to get into media. We teach them how to get verified on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. We teach them what's current. So you see the people I hang out with, we meet up every quarter and we're looking for the cutting edge stuff, media wise. And is it TikTok? You know, is it Getter? What's happening? And then straight away, I will deliver that straight away to my MF.club members to give them the advantage. And of course, to my franchises and my clients and business partners and stuff. But yeah, it's about your network is your net worth. We've all heard that saying. Yeah. It's so true, Swap. And if you can put your finger on my career, I've been hanging around with incredible people since I was 17, unbelievable people, and I can give some lessons back now. So I don't need to be doing that for $7.99. I kind of enjoy it. It's good fun. I love doing that type of stuff and helping. I'm quite open too. I think people think I'm not going to want to help other martial arts schools, but you know the situation with that. I don't honestly. I'm fine. I'm done financially.
Well, you're very helpful, very supportive. You know, like to everyone.
Whatever they want.
It's like this live, you know. In the day, you don't have to do it, but it's supporting people and things and showing them. And like, so if we was to say like a kind of like a recap, really, as to what main points come to mind as to what people should do right now. Like, So
first thing, the school owners and instructors who are watching this, shut yourself off from the media. Turn it off. Forget it. Just turn it off, and just do not. Because they have an agenda. They need to sell advertising space. They're gonna, because mainstream media is dying, and there's all these channels. They need to come up with crazy headlines to scare the life out of you, so they can show their rating figures to their advertisers. That's their agenda. So forget about all that nonsense. Then they need to focus on what can they do to be more aggressive. Now, you've got to bear in mind, there is a cost of living crisis out there. So we have to be sensitive to our current members and the potential members coming in, the prospects. But you need to be doing whatever you can. So you need to recognize that people are going to be struggling. We're not seeing it properly yet, Swap, because people on fixed rate interest rates of 1.5% going to come out and potentially hit 6%. Yeah, that's going to potentially, they could lose their home. So you need to create your martial arts school so valuable that they won't cancel you out, that you're seen as education, the private school. And I can teach you, we could do a whole day on this, maybe we should, but it's the worst is yet to come on it. It's not even started yet. The banks have all pulled out in panic, yet the rate hasn't gone to 6% yet. They've just done it because they're being controlled by the media as well. To show yourself from all that nonsense, bear in mind there is an issue. What can you do to make your martial arts school more valuable than other activities in your area? Not your other martial arts schools. Forget about all that. Your other martial arts schools is not your competitor. People do not, in this country, they do not try to look at one martial arts school and compare them both. We're not at that level yet. In America, it's different. They're on every street corner. Over here, they don't do that. They don't martial arts shop around.
What would you say a couple of points on like how to make yourself more valuable? Is there anything that you can just kind of share with everyone that would, because sometimes I know a lot of people will be saying, okay, how do I make myself like a school and more valuable? Have you got any couple of small tips on that?
Yeah, well, they need to concentrate on what their key areas are of excellence. So most martial artists are amazing and passionate about what they're doing. They can teach incredible classes and their retention is good, but the front end is what they hate. They hate the the marketing. They don't understand it. They don't understand social media. They don't want to understand it. So for me, I like the marketing side. I love all that. I love all of it. I love the martial arts. I love the marketing. I just get a foot out of the whole thing. However, I know that 90% of martial arts just want to teach martial arts, good lessons. That's it.
Yeah.
So try and outsource all the activities you don't want to do. So outsource Facebook. I mean, you offer a great service for that. So they can outsource their Facebook ads to you, for instance, and learn from you how to do that. Get your mentorship for them. And because you've got a nice eye on it from national scale too. Every ad from town to town will not work. It needs to be adjusted and monitored, and the copy's different. My advert in London won't work like it would do in Wales. You know, they're two very different economic situations. So what can you outsource and focus on what you're good at, and what can you do for the parents to offer such value over the next, I reckon it's going to be 6 months, and then it'll calm down. So it's going to get heavy when the winter kicks in. So what can you do to offer tremendous value? So that thing I'm doing tomorrow night, that's massive for the parents. Yeah. Completely no catch for them, free of charge. You know, I mean, people are welcome. They can steal my 21 tips if they want and run with it and invite their own parents onto a Zoom and talk and nick it all. I don't care. That's absolutely, more people this helps, the better. But you need to get yourself what you're good at, you've got to focus at, and then delegate everything else. It's no good trying to run ads manager by yourself if you haven't got a clue. Yeah. You know, I haven't got a clue how to work the damn thing. Well, you know, that's why I have consultants, people like you who I pick brains from. It changes all the time as well. So my job is to look at things. It's changing all the time. How can I evolve as like a leader for my organization? So for most martial arts schools, they need to have a real compelling offer. That is the thing now. You've got to stand out above everyone else. Education all the way, low barrier to entry. And at times like this, when people contract, you need to go out there hard. You need to really go out there.
Because one thing I always see people is like stopping all their ads, stopping the marketing, not pushing themselves out much because they're like, okay, people are not going to spend any money, you know, so I might as well retreat back a bit and save some pounds. But like from what I've heard as well from yourself and a few other people as well, is this is the right time to push yourself out more, because the mindset of people not spending money is not true. They will still spend money. It's just that you want to make it sure that they spend it with you. And as you say, making yourself valuable. I think one good thing would be, like, that's an awesome thing that you said about, you know, the mortgage stuff that you got a training. Obviously, if you guys want that link as well, once the recording's done, just make sure you comment notes below and then I'll send it across to you in Messenger. But as Matt has said, use that information, make yourself valuable, because look, end of the day, content, no matter where you get it, we are not the first people to invent it. You know, we find out from someone else. It all goes round, but as long as it's helping people, that's the main thing. So I think that's a great tip, actually, and it'll get the info out to more people. So
I think one thing the pandemic taught us, Swap, is you have to collaborate, not compete.
Yeah,
I think the whole martial arts world has really changed now, where they're very much open to new ideas, and there's no stabbing on the back going on like it used to be. Everyone's up for, okay, you've got through that. How have you done it? How can you help me? You know, they know they need to reach out for help.
I mean, if they've been through the pandemic, they can get through anything. That's probably the word.
The whole world. I was having this conversation on a Zoom yesterday to like a mastermind thing I run with a friend of mine. They said, is there going to be a depression or a recession or a correction? We've already had the depression. The whole flipping world shut down for 2 years practically. If you can get through that and you're still running, this is a blip. Yeah. This is nothing at all. So when you're right, when people, the mentality is, oh dear, everything's going up, save more money. And then the bank take your money and they get rich off it by buying houses with it and so on. That's what they want you to do. That's what the top 3% know how to work. The other 97% get scared to death about spending money. It's not spending anyway, it's investing. Two very different things.
Yeah.
If you spending £1 on Facebook and you get £2 back, then just keep doing that all day long. You know, even if it's £50 a lead, if you're signing them up, it's cost you £100, you're getting £1,000 lifetime value. That's a good exchange. Just keep doing that all day long. Stop moaning about it, because that's fantastic. There's no magic ingredient. You just got to know your numbers and just work the plan. And this will, ever since I was growing up, I remember when I was young, the Gulf War. There's always a war going on. There's always something. There always will be. and you just have to get through it. So you're right. So most people contract, think, I don't want to spend, I don't want to invest in Facebook, I don't want to do this, and then the people who know what they're doing, they go in hard. So you can check my numbers. You've got access to it, Swap. So over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we spent over 20 grand in advertising when everyone else is too scared to do it, and we smashed it. We absolutely smashed it. Done.
Yeah.
It was like 3,000 or 4,000 done, just like that, on the back of that ad spend, and we'll do it again. We're just catching up in a minute. We'll do it again this weekend, and it's not that difficult. It's a lot of, it's all down to mindset and the way you've been brought up, who you're mixing with, and yeah, you need to be delegating stuff and having mentors and guiding you through these situations. So things will change all the time. Facebook will be gone one day; it'll be something else. You need to be an early adapter.
It's like
with now, who's looking out for the next thing, you know?
It's you just got to be on the ball and just be in the right circles so you hear it first, so that you don't get caught out at the last minute and then wondering what's happened. So I think that rounds it up really nicely, actually. By the way, Matt, I appreciate your time on here, and there've been so many little nuggets here that I'm hoping people will pick it up. And I think the biggest thing that I've got from it is don't listen to the media. Literally, do what's been working for yourself. Don't think people are not going to invest in your school, and you invest as well in yourself as well. More importantly, in your business. But yeah, I think just keep making sure you become valuable is probably the biggest thing I think people should take from this. And the way you do it is think about, the easiest thing is speak to your parents. Find out what do they need and then give it to them. That's probably the best way I can probably describe it. But yeah, Matt, appreciate your time. Finally, guys, if you want the notes and everything that we talked about, and also the extra bonuses and goodies that we're offering, just comment notes below and we'll send it across to you. And I do highly recommend you to go to mf.club and get on it. It's less than a cup of coffee, so make sure it's well worth it. I've had a look around.
We have a WhatsApp group. I'm in there too, Swap. So if they got any questions they want to fire at me, and I'm in. It's actually me in the WhatsApp group as well. So yeah, and we deliver great stuff in there all the time. So and then recording will go in there as soon as we've done it too, and we're probably going to do a few more of these little things too.
Yeah, you need support in times like this. So
yeah, we all need to collaborate, get together, and it's people give everyone a hard time when they're trying to get people together to do something good, and it's wrong. We all need to collaborate together now. Put your feelings aside. If we all unite on this and get through it, share ideas and so on, you're going to be just fine, and if we can still keep growing after 26 years of all the stuff we've gone through, then martial arts schools out there, they're just going to breeze through this. But you can't cut off your lifeblood to your school. You can't, I see this all the time. Like, you've got these nice cars, you've got your house and stuff, but what feeds that is your marketing. If you're going to cut that off, you're going to suffer yourself. You're going to fall right into the government's trap and the media's trap. You need to keep, if you can't get members in, you need to go harder. Like, I'm good friends with Dave Kovar, who's, everyone knows Dave Kovar, I'm sure. American martial arts business guru, retention guru. And we always talk about July and August. And we have this mentality that no one wants to do anything in July and August. But when we do advertise in July and August, we go hard. It's more expensive, but we get so many members in. And when it comes to September, we're not just catching up on what we lost over the summer because we don't advertise. We're actually back into growth mode. Whereas most martial arts schools don't advertise in July, August. Yeah, they think, people on some holidays. The parents still got things to do. You just need to go harder. You need to invest more, so that when you get to September, you're not playing catch up. That's the important part. Advertising works all year round, but you just got to change the theme, change the message, change the copy, change the pictures, work within Facebook's walls or Instagram, whatever it may be, and you'll be fine. And you need to be doing the offline stuff as well, because if you get deplatformed, you're screwed. You need to be doing at least 15 offline activities per month, as well. It's all
about the marketing mix, isn't it? Really, you should have a bit of everything everywhere. And obviously,
it's proven. People need to see your message 7 times before they respond. Yeah. So you got to be working everything. So I have this list of 70 different marketing ideas, and that's in MF.club too. We're rolling that one out. We go into great detail on each one, but then you need to be working everything. Wherever you go, you should see a presence of it. There's two ways to get members in: either your time or your money. You need to do a bit of both, and then you'll be just fine. You're just fine. There's no point trying to work. For me to, I'm no good. I can only just work my iPhone, let alone working ads. I can't do that. That is not who I am. I cannot sit at a computer doing that. I want to be out there doing the stuff, or in the gym, or doing Zooms or conferences. I can't do techie stuff. If you delegate that stuff out, I think a lot of martial artists fall into that category. Plus, it's quite hard to wear two hats. Trying to work that out when really you should be focused on your retention of your students and giving them value. And when a parent says they can't afford it, work something out with them. What can they do? Could they help you out in class? Could they be an ambassador maybe? Could they refer somebody to come into the class? Don't let them go. When times are hard, you'll help people.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be a respectful, teaching respect here. If they can't generally afford it, work something out. What can they give you in return other than money? To help you out of your school. Refer, give out flyers, leaflets, maybe take on your Facebook comments for you, work your inbox for you. There's so many things.
Thinking out the box, basically.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Really good tips, that is. So, Matt, I think we'll finish it off there. I think it's been an awesome interview. Thank you so much for your time. And every single one of you, I hope you got a lot of value from this. And, basically, if you want the notes, again, just comment notes below and I'll sort you out through Messenger. And if you're watching this on the recording on Matt's page later on, then obviously we'll send it through DM as well through that way. And that's pretty much it, really. Thank you very much, Matt. And every single one of you, don't worry. Recession is only here for a little while.
Fine. It will just blow over. It'll be fine. No issue. Just got to turn. There'll be another one in a year's time.
Yeah. And there will always be something. Just
cycle of life. That's all it is.
Well, brilliant. Right.
Nice one, Sean. Thank you very much for having me on.
And stick around, Matt, 1 minute, and everyone else.